Oh yeah, thanks you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on here.
I think it's pretty cool what you guys are doing.
Very good questions and what a lot of research.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you guys asking me to be a part of this.
That was too cool, bro. And I love between shifts. I'm between shifts right now. I think I'm gonna be between shifts the rest of my life.
Welcome back to the Between Shifts podcast. Today we're joined by a fourth generation commercial fisherman born and raised in Half Moon Bay. His family has been here since before the Prohibition, and he's followed right in their footsteps by spending his life on the water, building a career in commercial fishing while continuing his family's legacy on the coastside. Please welcome Geoff Bettencourt.
There we go.
We're doing it for the love of the game today, guys. Yeah. We're all fucking sweating balls. It's hotter than hell up here.
Yeah, it's smoking.
And we had to walk up 2 flights of stairs just to get here.
Well, happy to have you on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I touched on where you grew up, but what was your childhood like here on the coastside?
So I grew up right across the street here on Central Avenue, right across from Hatch School, and pretty cool spot to grow up, and spent most of my time like having to stay on that side of the highway, right? My mom was like, "Oh no, you can't go across the highway." And then I think it was about 4th grade-ish or something. I could come right here, and if I crossed at the stoplight, then I could come go uptown.
Yeah.
And I'd go to over to the firehouse to see my dad or Cunha's to get something,
Yeah.
And then there was a bike shop on Main Street over there that had stickers.
Yeah.
Go get a cool sticker for your bike or something.
The bicyclery.
Yeah. So that was
What was Cunha's store like then?
Cunha's store was a staple. I mean, it was like where we went, right? It was still literally, wooden floors with sawdust, right? The old school butcher shop in the back where I'd go back there with Dad, and Greg was the butcher, and he'd reach in and give me an old fashioned hot dog and start gnawing on my just to keep me quiet so him and Dad could sling the bull, and and then you'd come out, and then by the checkout where the checkout was, she had candy bars and stuff. And when you're a little kid, that was, if you were good, you got to pick one.
Yeah.
So,
what was your go-to?
We had like Snickers bar or something in those days. I was like, yeah, man, because it just was different, right? There was no resources for stuff like that around here.
Was upstairs still like a little bit of like an outfitter store?
It was country store in the way of like, she did have some ammunition and stuff you could get. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And jeans and some boots and, some clothing and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember much. Like, I think there was some like household things and stuff, but when you're a little boy, you don't check that out too much.
Would this have been around the same time as Robin Baird's gun shop on Main Street?
This would have been after. So I'd have probably, most of my time there was probably from, being part of it was probably, 7, 8 on,
Yeah.
And then, man, when we were in high school, that was a spot we went every day for lunch, right? We'd come down, and when we were at Cunha, Cunha was Coast Campus, but we'd go over there.
Still after school.
Yeah.
We'd go do that too. They had great sandwiches.
Yeah. That was the spot. I mean, it was just the go-to.
Have you had a sandwich there in a while?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I was in there the other day, and I forget what Claire and I were looking at. I remember thinking about how good the sandwiches were, and I was like, I wonder if they're still that good.
They're okay. They're not that bad, but honestly, it's like good liquor prices.
It's basically all liquor now. It's the whole butcher shop in the back is all coolers now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in there and I was like, damn, this looks way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the spot. My grandpa, I thought it was the only place he went,
Yeah.
And even in those days, there was no Safeway. There was over there where New Leaf was, that was where Alpha Beta it was called. And that was, the big grocery store. There was no Safeway or, the whole complex actually over there where McDonald's and stuff wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Dang.
Round Table Pizza, that little corner in my life, that little edge where Taste and Round Table and stuff is, that little
US Bank.
Yeah, that was kind of there.
Okay.
But the rest of it was nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
How sick would it be if Cunha's had a bar upstairs now?
Oh,
I mean, they have the alcohol license. It would be pretty sick if they could open something up there.
different alcohol license, but
I know, but I mean, how hard can it be if they already have that one?
yeah. It's if
There's only 100 bars on Main Street now.
Well, how much did being a fourth generation here influence how you grew up?
that's a great question. It's like, I think for me, and it's still inside of me is like, I always had something that was bigger than me to pay attention to, like my family, my name, my dad taught me early. He said to me once, the most valuable thing you'll ever own is your reputation. And that meant a lot to me, even from that stage. And I guess the era that I grew up in, it was always really important to me to not disappoint my elders that I respected. So I feel like it shaped me a lot. I feel like it still does because, everything I do or think, that's always a component of my decision making.
Now, not to correct David, but fourth generation fisherman, but how many generations has your family been here?
So my great father is the one that came.
Okay.
And then my grandfather, my father, and then me, and then now there's Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, that's
I'm
right.
4th, Todd's 5.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where did your family come from?
Well, they came from Portugal. Kind of an interesting.
No way.
Yeah.
Mine too.
But kind of an interesting story with how they ended up here was when they came from Portugal, they ended up in San Leandro. And like you guys are talking about bars, my great grandpa had giant bar, biggest bar, right?
In San Leandro?
San Leandro.
Wow.
And he was, very successful man. And he ended up with 2 blocks in San Leandro, 2 blocks.
Wow.
And this bar and all this big stuff. And the story is that the city or somebody more powerful than my grandpa wanted it, right?
Yeah.
So they did the plant with the prohibition with the underage kid and all the stuff, and they ended up getting him in a spot where they made him sell.
Yep.
So he sold, and literally they got they had pretty good dough, I think, at that time, and they got in the wagon, and 2 days later, took 2 days to get here. They were here, and they stayed here for till now.
Yeah. Probably got out of San Leandro at the right time.
I guess. Although I wish our family had 2 blocks over there right now. It'd be cool.
Yeah. It would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No.
But and kind of touching back onto you being multi-generational and kind of feeling like you've always had something more to strive for, but also, represent with your representation around town and all the connections that you make. I feel the same way. And I feel like it's nice in the sense that like, it kind of helps hold yourself to a higher standard. It's easy to kind of get comfortable and not want to go out and build connections. But at the same time, as soon as I get comfortable and I'm not like expanding, just like meeting people or doing fun things, I think about my grandfather and I'm like, fuck, he would have been out doing something. I should get out and go do something. And it kind of helps like keep me happy in the sense that I feel like I'm following in their footsteps in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
The good ways.
Yeah, and it's all tied together. It's just all about perspective, right? Everything means something different, however you look at it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, when did you know that you wanted to follow in your family's footsteps as a fisherman?
So early on, I've always kind of our family had some tragedy with fishing very early, and I just remember little pieces of it. But we lost my cousin at sea, and
is that Alex?
No, Alex was my best buddy. That
was
we
your
lost.
buddy?
That was later. But my cousin Tommy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Little League, the Tommy Bettencourt Award?
Oh, yeah.
That's my cousin that was lost.
Oh, okay. Lost at sea.
Lost at sea, yeah. And Tommy was going to be, Tommy was just a stud, right? He was a bull rider, big hunting guy. He was it, right? And he loved fishing, and that the way that it goes, there was a kind of a real tough thing for the family is he didn't like the guy that he was with, and they were in Eureka, far from home at that time. And he called my grandpa was still alive, and my uncle and my dad, and he said, "Dude, I don't like this. I just want to be out of,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore, this guy." And they said, "Okay, nope, that's fine." They said, "But finish it." And then he got lost on the way home. So that was
The other guy got lost as well, or?
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna say it kind of sounded a little.
And that was a real. I don't know. It's very difficult to explain because I was so young, but it's just been this thing, that's real. And so that was always kind of like a scary, but like it's hard to explain. Like I'm sure you guys hopefully had the same experience, but like my dad growing up, I trusted my dad with everything. If my dad told me jump off this cliff and we're going to be okay and we're holding hands, I would have done it, right?
Yeah.
So I was never scared fishing because when I was little, I was with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can remember being, 6, 7 years old and Romeo Pier. You guys remember Romeo Pier, right?
Yeah.
How tall it was.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have to go out to the boat in a little tiny skiff. And the only way to get to the skiff was this big, long ladder, steel rungs all the way in.
Oh, off the pier?
Off the pier.
Yeah.
And my dad would climb off the thing and he would go like this with his arms. And then I would step between it and he had his arms.
Yeah.
And then we would just go down together. Like I'd go down a couple steps. He'd go down a couple steps. He'd go. So the fear for me was never really there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew that, that they were all proud of it and everybody, and I liked it. And that just, it drew me to wanting to do it.
Yeah. Just progressed from
Yeah.
a love of being with your dad.
Yeah. It was, that's what led me. And my grandpa was proud at the time that I was interested in it.
Mm-hmm. So at just 18 years old, you took the boat out on your own. So 18. Okay.
So yeah, that kind of happened when, my family, my dad, we had the family boat, right? The Yvonne, 36-foot boat, salmon fishing. And my dad, it was kind of small, stuff. And my dad knew that wasn't going to suit me at that time. And he didn't want me to.
You guys were commercial fishing?
Yeah, it was salmon. The Yvonne was salmon and crabs is what they did with it.
Yep.
And it's funny because I had money as a little kid because I would work and then I saved all my money. And then all of a sudden I was just a little kid and I had all this money. And it's like, wow,
Yeah.
And so I had the experience of that as well, where I got to learn, wow, if I worked, and you live at home when you're little and then all of a sudden you got a pile of money, right?
Yeah.
And I can remember being pissed off. I wanted to buy a 3-wheeler and they wouldn't let me, and I had the money, and I'm like, well, I made it. Like that,
like, we paid you.
yeah. But my dad recognized that wasn't going to be suitable for me to make a living and stay home. And at that point, that would have been 1984, 85. We went and I got to be, because I was a boat freak, even though I was young. Like I knew every boat, everything on it. There was a good boat in Sausalito, and we went, looked at it and stuff, and my dad bought that boat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So then when you turned 18, that was your first time taking it all out on your own?
Yeah. So then I started with him, obviously, still. And then he didn't want me to go like tuna fishing a million miles away from home. So we started trawl fishing.
Wait, side note. Sorry.
Yeah.
At what point were you older when Alex also went missing?
So not too long after this is when Alex went.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you guys were young.
1993.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'd been fishing. I graduated in 89, and then we lost Alex in 93.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was
That was brutal.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the story behind? I mean, obviously he went missing at sea, but was he out fishing alone?
No. So I'll tell you the story, and this is something that still haunts me to this day, is the politics of fishing. Some of the politics are I don't even know how to explain it, like horrifically unhuman in the way of there's jealousy, there's competition, there's all these terrible drivers that come out in people. You know, they say it's just because there's finances, there's pride, there's all these things, right? So in this, I was young too, and Alex was as well, and he fished with me quite a bit in that time when I was taking it out. Yeah, he was with me, and we were as close as they came, and then he was going to go crab fishing with somebody else, which was fine, and he had partnered with this other guy. And this other guy was in this cliquey group type thing. And he's like, dude, here's how it's going to go. He said, we can't talk during crab season, this part of the crab season, because that's I mean, I'm just a kid and I'm still kind of figuring it out. I'm like, really? I didn't.
Was Alex your age?
He was older than me.
Older than you?
Yeah, he was probably almost 10 years old, 8 years older than me.
Wow. So
this was my first introduction into the, what? Yeah. That's how it worked? I thought.
So we're
not going to talk, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give away the spot.
Well, yeah, the guy he was partnered with didn't want to want me, or
the cliquey group.
This, all the shit, like that kind of stuff, which I that was my first taste of it. And I mean, if that's how it's going to be, that's how it's got to be, right? So I remember it like it was yesterday. We were fishing crabs. It was rough for those boats, right, in those days. And it started blowing southerly, and we came home. We bucked a big southerly home, and got home around 9, 10 at night, maybe dark. It was well dark, and in those days we fished different. We would go home to the house, and then we got in, put our other load on, whatever we were going to do, and we go, okay, we're going to go back out in the morning. So we came down. It was like 3. I've been 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and
home at 10, up at 2.
Yeah, and there's no, and the boat that he was on wasn't there. So at any other time, I would have just. So like the bullshit seeps in, right? Like, well, we can't call them anyways, or whatever. They're really pumping, right? Yeah. So you think they're really pumping. So then you kind of thinking, and you're like, man, I got rough last night, but not that rough. And then you just put your head down, do your thing, right? And that was the very beginning of the first cell phone that was on a giant battery pack with the thingy,
on the boat.
On the boat, and we had one. Yeah, and it was in those days. I remember my dad buying it because when I was taking the boat on my own, my dad wanted me to have something to communicate.
Yeah, smart. Yeah,
and it was in those days they were like $800 for the phone, and then like $1 a minute, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, "Don't be bullshitting with Moriah. I just call if you're having a problem, right?"
Yeah.
So then we noticed something was up, and I got a phone call that said, hey, have you seen Alex? I'm like, no. What do you mean? They said, yeah, somebody said they never came in. I'm like, what? And then it started, like some shit started on the radio, like, no, and then I knew. So then I called guys I knew in the city because I thought maybe it blew so hard suddenly they couldn't buck it. They just went with it.
Yeah.
And went up to the city, and then the guys I called, no, we ain't seen him. And I'm like, and then this just feeling comes over you. And I can't remember, I'm young, right? Mm-hmm. And I did have my dad. And I'm like, what do we do, right? So, we tried calling, and nothing, no calls, no nothing. And then I paid enough attention that knew that he was roughly where they were. We were up and in more, and he was down and out from us more. Mm-hmm. And me and Dad were like, fuck, we gotta go look for him. And so we did. And everybody was looking for him and looking. And then eventually we found all the buoys that were on the boat were up, and the diesel I could still smell the fuel.
Yeah.
Fuel was on the water, and it's just.
Holy shit.
That's where it happened, right?
Yeah.
Was it the whole boat went down?
Yeah, the whole boat gone.
Yeah. Did anybody ever? I guess it's just still down there, huh?
Yep, it's still there. I know right where it is. Yeah, it's still there.
You ever fish on top of it?
I just towed by it the other day, and it
Did
was
you catch anything good?
no. It's just it's gut wrenching for me because
Yeah.
even when I had the marks on it, the marks were all TDs, and now it's all switched to latitude, longitude, GPS, and all. It wasn't that shit there.
Yeah.
So all my marks I've had to convert, but I know right where it is.
Yeah.
And and anyway, that was the end of the story. And that night there was another little boat got lost. So 4 guys died that night.
Fuck, that was a heavy night.
Yeah, it was bad.
How deep is it in that spot?
It's 46 fathoms right there on the 116 line.
Whoa.
Dang.
That's
43, 116, 27, 32, 4.14 is where it's at.
Got it wired.
Yep.
What this is kind of a side note, but it was a lot of fun having you preemptively sit down with Felix and talk about it because he went right at you.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Come."
You showed up and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just here with Moriah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you're fucking sitting in, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
like I said. I've had I've had a very interesting life, but a lot of tragedy, a lot of wonderful things. So I figured Felix, he sensed that shit. He's
Yeah,
like,
that was nuts.
Yeah.
Did you ever end up finding the gold coins, or what was it?
I haven't found him yet.
Haven't found them.
No, I
Looks
did.
by all the stairs.
I did just last tow the other day. I did just get 3 big rib bones and another vertebrae though.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so it seems different kind of treasure.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty cool.
Well, I guess we'll lighten the mood a little bit. What's the stupidest argument you and your dad ever got into the boat?
I remember this was early too, right? The kid machismo, where we used to we'd say, well, we should go over here, or we should go over there, right? And then if he'd say something, I'd say, well, told you, should have went over here. Like that shit would start, right?
Yeah.
So then we got in a fight one day over it or something, and he pissed me off because nobody can make you mad like somebody you love, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he pissed me off. I can't remember what I did, and I went and I threw a bucket overboard, over the side of the boat, this and that, and then all of a sudden he looked at me and he threw a bucket overboard, and then all of a sudden we're like, and threw another one. And he's like, "We better stop this shit, or we can't even put the fish guts in the bucket." So we ended up kind of laughing, and that day it was a great day because we ended up settling it to where, dude, maybe we ought to just kind of decide together, and then if we go the wrong way, it's both of our faults.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a good day at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Because I know that's one of the things that you guys do now is that you guys are mainly bottom trawling. And I know that's super heavily regulated. It's a really tough fishery. You're the only ones in the harbor that do it, right?
Well, there's at the level of IFQ and fishing offshore, there's me and there's a guy that I'm partnered with that we own the dock together.
Okay.
And he actually fishes what's called Scottish seine, which is really the only one left in the United States.
Okay.
Very, very interesting. And so there's me and him fishing offshore. And then really there's one boat from Oregon that's fishing out of Moss Landing. And then the next closest guy's in Fort Bragg.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you guys are kind of in your own element. I mean, how did you guys end up going down that path? And I mean, why did you stick with it? Because it's dying for a reason.
Yeah. So I was faced, you guys will love this one. Imagine being young and building a business, right? And which Moriah and I had done, and we had our first little house and payments and no Alex yet. And we fishing was just starting to go through this change, this limit of permits and type things, right? And we had been fishing and qualified, and so then they came to us and they said, "Oh, you missed the window by, I don't know what it was, a week or 10 days, some sort of thing." But I knew we didn't miss the window because so they sent us a letter that said you had 30 days to cease all fishing, dragging, and we'd spent a bunch of money to go dragging.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And so it was devastating. So at that time, we had to borrow money, and we went, because that was right when the first permits came out.
Okay.
So we went and we had to borrow money from the bank and go buy one to keep fishing. And then we went and got this attorney over in Oakland and gave her all the stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is. So what the government did is they had started, there was a clock that from the time that you started, you had to be done at a certain time or you wouldn't qualify. But what the clock was supposed to start was with ground fish. And when I went crabbing, they started it with a crab. So and then it was completely their fault, right?
Yeah.
So they had us where we were screwed. And this lady, thank God to her, we'd spent like another 30 grand with the lady. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh, it's going to be another 30 grand to get it and I'll win. And my dad's like, dude, we're just burying ourselves. The permit's only worth 30 grand. And we told her, I said, we got to tap out. We can't pay you another 30 for something that's 60 that's only worth 30.
Yeah.
And I had to already buy another one.
Yep.
So I had this problem. So this lady, she came, she goes, listen. She goes, if you pay all the expenses for everything, she said, I'll just take it from here on out. And she did. And it was a very interesting experience. So we went to federal court. I can still remember Lowell Jensen was the judge's name. This big, you're over in Oakland in federal court, right? And you're just a kid. And it's like, and it was one of the really interesting experiences because we were in the right.
Yeah.
And he gave the federal government 3 different chances. The attorney was there to grant us our thing, and she wouldn't.
Wow.
And then he just got pissed off and slapped it down and said, I demand you give them their permit. And and the girl came to me and Moriah out in the hallway, and she was sweet. She said, I just want you to know that this was my job. She says, I'm glad you guys got your permit.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Yeah.
How long does that permit last?
Well, for a lifetime.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So and then that was, and then what really happened with fishing after that, another major tragedy type thing. We're rolling, doing our thing, right? And in our business, the real troublesome thing is that the industry has this I don't know what the proper word is, but it has this effect that people think, oh, this is bad. Okay. So if you're better, if there's a goal for you to exploit that I'm bad and you're going to get something out of it, you're gonna, and I can't really defend myself. So there was this huge period of time in my career where some bad environmental groups realized that they could monetize their businesses by attacking and saying that fishing is bad in all these ways, right? So they filed all these lawsuits against the government to force the government to regulate heavier, right?
Yeah.
So that was all through my lifetime. So I've had to, and I've seen that, and I'll tell you guys, just cut through all the bullshit and the time to help you guys. And I will tell you that the coolest part of that story is from when I was 20 and that started to I'm sitting here today at 55. It was 98% bullshit, and the ocean is healthier than it's ever been, and it's highly regulated, which is I'm 100% for.
Yeah.
And the way that it's came out has been good, but when you look back on the way that it was done, all that stress and strain, discomfort, and stuff that they did to the communities at that early stage was wrongfully placed.
Yeah.
And we had to live through that.
Well, and it's like, and yeah, of course, like, so like a prime example is like the salmon fishery, where it's like, it was strained, and it was to the point where, there's no point to buying a permit. People weren't catching enough salmon to make money.
Yeah, no season
too, and
Crab's been on and off too. Crab's been fucking touchy.
Crab's weirder. That's
just weird.
It's a cyclical thing. Yeah.
Crab's weirder because then that was like the whole whale thing and all that.
Wasn't there a few years where they were just like no crab, or it was like a month maybe?
Yeah, I mean it depends.
They just do no crab for domoic acid and then whales, and that's
The thing that's so wonderful about the crab is that the way that they're managed with size and sex, that you can't damage them in the way of that you leave all the sublegal males you take 0 females and sublegal males do all the breeding. So when you're only harvesting the larger males,
Yeah.
even if you get every single male that's over this size, the breeding is always going to continue because the sublegals are doing all the breeding.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's a really, really
and
well managed.
I think for a most part, morally, I know that personally, I've never taken a female dungy, but I think you could say that for a lot of
Dungeness crab for you people at home.
Yeah, but I think you could say that for a lot of recreational fishermen too.
Yeah,
it's because you're allowed to recreationally.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people will throw back a female all day long.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, I never been into females and does, and let them live. They're the baby makers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you welding your own pots, or how are you getting your?
So we have for years, and lately with a lot of the busyness, we've been buying some, and then with this gear reduction thing, I mean, my losses have just. Because my efficiency, guys can say whatever they want. We work 24 hours a day until you hit. There's a different threshold for people, but most of the humans are around, 40, 50 hours. You start breaking down pretty hard. So you got to stop for a little bit, and then we'll stop for, a handful of hours and go again. And you can't properly run 500 the way you should, in my opinion. And then when we took this reduction, we've been so efficient.
What's the reduction? What are you talking about?
So the reduction because of the whales, when the whales are around, we've been fishing around the whales with less pots. So we've been fishing 50%.
So they don't get stuck in the line or something?
Yeah. So we've been fishing 50% or 60%.
Gotcha.
And my loss, the amount of gear that we lost is just negligible. Like I think I lost 1 or 2 this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That used to be my favorite thing. I used to play hooky and stay at Dennis and Betty's all day. And I'd go out into the garage and he'd have his fucking banquets cracked already and he'd be welding a crab pot. And I'd be like, holy shit. It was fun. I did my whole senior project on that. He gave me one of his crab pots, explained I'm not much of a fisherman. Yeah. But he explained it all to me, and I went in and I did a whole project on how a crab pot works and all that shit. Mr. Carey loved it. He's like, this is awesome. I was like, I've never used one.
What a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot into it. So there's a lot of electrical field and a lot of grounding, and so they have to be built correctly, right? And you have to. There's a lot to it, man. Really a lot. You got to weld it with the right rod. You can't have too much rubber, or the field of electricity between the wire and the rubber, the insulation is too much or too little. And there's tons and tons of little tricks that and I would say if you went to the majority of the crab fishermen today, I would be shocked if 1% of them could build a pot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's where, I know that, because my brother and I haven't done it in quite a few years, but because the regulations changed for recreation, where now you need to pay extra to be able to use cages instead of, so that you can only.
It's all soft cages though, isn't it?
No. So it's like you can use hoop nets, which we have a bunch of hoop nets, and that's what we would normally drop. But we do have some cages, and normally we would just paddle out of the harbor, drop a handful, hang out, go back, pick them up. But then when I saw that we couldn't use cages without buying the extra license, I was like, we have 4 hoop nets. I guess we could run those, but yeah. Yeah,
we've been paying full rate for all of our permits and everything and only been able to use half the pots. Yeah. That's crazy. Fishing has changed so dramatically in my career. I mean, and some of it for the better, for sure. The way that the fish now, the ground fish is owned by, there's 120 of us on the entire West Coast that basically own the ground fish. And then it's kind of interesting in the way of that. It's almost like the stock market in the way that if you have in your portfolio something, or you have something in your portfolio that I may be interested in, I could come to you and say, hey, I'll trade you some of this, or do you want to lease this? But at the end of the day, there's still only X amount of fish coming out of the ocean, right? Because there's a certain number. So it really kind of protects that, but gives the flexibility for different guys in different regions to build different type fisheries.
Yeah. But so after spending your life as a commercial fisherman, are you still able to go enjoy yourself on your own as a fisherman?
I'm embarrassed to tell you guys this. Like, I've never caught a salmon in my life on a fishing pole.
Really?
Swear to God, dude.
Wow.
It's always been on commercial downrigging setups.
I had 347 in one day.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I had 3 trips back to back in 2005 on the Moriah, where I had 22,000 pounds.
Holy shit.
All hand caught.
Damn.
Yeah, and the guy there at that period when he was a big buyer, and he told me, he said that was the biggest salmon check he'd ever written.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
What do you what do you primarily sell to when you do have catch?
So we sell to another wholesaler, like, so we'll work with them pending. So groundfish will have a, so to speak, almost like a shopping list order type thing. You can get 2,000 of this, 5,000 of this, whatever.
You give it to the wholesaler?
Yeah, and then I'll try, which is tough, right, to get each specific species to this.
Oh, so they give you a shopping list and they're like, go grab it out of the ocean.
Yeah, or like, for instance,
crazy.
I could go get.
I feel like that should be the other way around.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be like, this is what I fucking caught.
Yeah.
If you want this.
Yeah, there's times like we could get, 20,000 easily of one species, and it's like, they're like, oh, they only want 5, so we got to get that and then move off and then go try to get the other guys, and then that's where the trick comes in, because then you got to go find them and not get any more of the other ones you already got. Yeah. Now you're already up against your cap. So it's complex. It's very complex. Yeah.
Now, can you, cause I remember, so I've grown up with my dad absolutely loving just the ability. And I think too many people on the coast don't do it enough, but just going down to the harbor, seeing what people are selling off the boat, and grabbing something from the fisherman off the boat. Yeah. And I know that's not, you guys don't really do that.
But it's still a great thing for the community.
Exactly. Those
boats, it's just a draw. It's a fresh local product. And it's a good thing.
I think we're one of the very few harbors that actually still does that.
There's not a lot out.
It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And so one thing that he's always told me about is how, when that started was with salmon season, one of the wholesalers was just not paying out.
That's right.
And so then everybody protested.
That's right.
And basically just had a giant salmon cookout for the community.
That's fucking
giving them
cool.
away. Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's true.
I never knew that story.
That's totally true.
That's super cool.
And I remember my dad telling me about that. Like, I was fucking stuffed,
For sure.
But my dad actually, he made the app fish line.
That's what, my sister told me. That's awesome. It's, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That, and he
explain what that is again.
So he did this on his own time, essentially for free, just a while ago, because he loves buying fish off the boat, and he loves that aspect of what we have on the coast. And when you go to the harbor, you can look at the harbor master's office, and there's a fish board, and it's very simple. It's what dock slip you're in, what the name of the boat is, and what fish they're selling. And my dad literally just put that into an app.
He took it to the next level where people could go on ahead of time.
We live in such a fucking cool place. We have all the guys that fish, and then we also have the people in the community who are like, let's help you sell that.
And so then it was at the point when, after he had first done it, it was so awesome. It was because when he first did it, a bunch of the guys were really hyped up on it. And he was getting decent usage, and he would go down to the harbor to talk to the guys that are using it, just to be like, what should I change? What should I do with it? And, he would come home with some fish or some crab, and because they appreciated what he was doing. And that was awesome, because for like 2 or 3 years there, it was quite a bit of great seafood.
And that app's still up and going?
Yeah, it's cool. It's still going. I don't think he really does anything with it, but a bunch of the guys still use it. Like, I know Danny Mac still uses it, and
Danny Mac uses it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
yeah.
Nice.
So I know you're a big hunter. I'm trying to become a big hunter. I've just started, but what's your favorite hunt that you've been on?
Man, I mean, I could tell you guys some pretty amazing stories. But recently, very recently, I'd never been to Hawaii in my life, and Moriah wanted to go. And I said, all right, I'll go, but I'm going to go hunting over there. And she said, cool. And I did. And the fact that I got to experience Hawaii, and then at night when it got dark, my wife came and picked me up, took me back, and I got to go back home with her and be with Todd and my brother-in-law was one of the most fun, memorable, low pressure hunts I've been on. And I mean, yeah, it was, I mean, killed a nice sheep and a pig and a goat. But as far as fun, and it was I'm going to say it's way up there for me. I mean, I've killed big bucks and nice bulls and slept on rocks and snow and misery and killed big stuff and horseback and cool things. But as far as like the funnest, that was pretty tough to beat, you know. Me and Todd were in the hot tub, you know, at 10 o'clock at night, and then knew we were going to get up next morning and go hunting again. And it was like, it was pretty epic.
I was just going to say, Todd didn't go with you, but he did.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
So that guy's always getting his hands dirty.
Yeah. It was funny because the dude we were with, he's like, the ranch deal was once you paid to be on the ranch, you had a right to shoot any of those 3 species.
Holy shit.
And he's like, and I asked him, he goes, oh yeah, he goes, some guy, he goes, not many 2-man teams usually get all 3. Okay. And so, you know, I've been with Todd since he's been this big, right? Everything he's shot, the Tweety Bird's on, right? So we get up on this pile of bunch of goats and we're just crawling, and you get like a couple, 200-300 yards, and I tell him, just picking one out, I'm gonna let him shoot. It's our turn to shoot first. And I lean over in his ear and I tell him, I said, when you shoot, get off that gun. I'm gonna get on that gun and try to get them when they run up that hill. Yeah. So he shoots one, and they all, you know, booger out, and they're gonna go up this other hill. And we already ranged it. It was like 370 something, and so I'm getting on the gun, and the kid's dialing for me. He's dialing me in. He's like, you're set. And they were running up the hill, and I picked around with boom and flipped him over, and the guy's like kind of looking at us like, that's how you get doubles, buddy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Were you able to bring your gun out there?
We did. Yeah, we shipped the guns over. It was cool. Kind of low key, really. And I was actually a little surprised when we landed in Hawaii. I was like, you know, it's outside over there, right? Yeah. Everything's outside, and I walk over, and here's this freaking gun just in there. You know, there's the ropes. There's some ropes around them, and there's a chick there, and I said, hey, I hear them again. She goes, oh, which one? I said, oh, that one. She just went, dunk, and handed it to me. They didn't show any paperwork. I was like, yeah. Well, I got my stuff.
Welcome to the island.
Yeah.
I know flying with guns always seems so intimidating, and then like I've looked it up, and it's really you put it in a case, you lock it, show them it's unloaded, and
put the TSA thing on it.
Yeah.
But they did go into it because when I got to the house in Hawaii and opened it, there was a different thing inside where they looked at it.
Yeah, they give you like a little stamp or something on it.
Yeah, like a little piece of paper.
They did that with my bike on the way to New Zealand.
Yep.
I was like, no way they went in the bag. Because I spent so much time cleaning it because I had only read and heard that they were super picky about the dirt that you bring in.
Right.
So you had to have it just like spit shine.
Interesting.
That's right. I had a bike bag that I spent so long taping, like so much tape, because it was a bad bike box, like cardboard box to begin with, and so then I'm just taping the shit out of it, and then we land and the box is like split open, all this stuff, and it's because there was like one layer of TSA tape on it because they cut through all my shit.
Yeah. Well, transitioning here, how did becoming a father to Alex challenge you, but also teach you as a human? Do you feel that changed how you approach hardships in your business?
That's a great question. I mean, Alex, to me, I would say is without question the biggest thing that changed me of who I was, for sure. Because when I had Alex, and he was just so frail and so defenseless and so just working so hard to live, that I decided at that point that no matter what I could do, that nothing would stop me from being able to provide him with everything he needed. Mm-hmm. And that's what drove me. I figured if I couldn't fix him, that I could earn enough or build enough that somebody would want it, that would take care of him if I couldn't. So that was my driver.
Yeah.
And for somebody listening that hasn't listened to Moriah's episode, can you just explain the background with Alex and who he is and the hardships that he deals with?
Alex was born with Charge syndrome, and it's basically a word of all the stuff. And like Moriah explained, all the things that he had wrong with him. And, he had to work so hard just to stay here, and, it was the darkest times that I could explain. And Moriah and I were young, and I'll tell you something about Moriah. This is God's honest truth. So some people may consider me, this guy's a tough guy or whatever. He fishes, he'll go, days without sleeping, and he'll hunt this and he'll hunt that. But the single toughest person I know is her. And that's God's honest truth. Like, for 28 years, 26 years, every year, if Alex in the middle of the night, she's up, dude. She is just the best mom and the best. So when you have a person like that and Alex working so hard, nothing can stop you, right?
Yep.
And he's just been this amazing kid, and he's changed so many people's lives with the way that he's got this. It's so hard to explain, but he can just touch people in the way of that. He makes you want to be better. He's made Todd a better kid. He's made some of Todd's friends better kids. He's made me and Moriah's friends and family, and I'm so proud of him that he's been able to still be here, basically. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't supposed to be here, did they? Like they brought him home, and when we brought him home the first time, they said, "Oh yeah," I said, "Oh yeah, this kid can't breathe on his own." And I remember, Moriah, like 90 something days, she stayed in the hospital, and I'm talking, when I say stayed in, I mean not
every day.
Yeah, every day. Yeah. Like the best she would do would leave a couple hours once a week to go 20 minutes away to my aunt's to take a shower. I mean, she just
yeah.
Yes, it's and he's become this great kid, and he's been through helicopter flights, surgeries, and I think a personal flaw that I have is sometimes business wise or whatever, when I feel like someone's attacking something I'm doing, I take it as they're coming after Alex, and then I go, then you go psycho, right?
Yes.
So I think that's part of one of my character problems, but I guess recognizing it's a big part of it, right? Yeah.
Well, so, you have Todd out there on the boat with you today. I know this is a bit of a transition from Alex and everything, but you have Todd out there on the boat today. He's your nephew. What does that mean to you from carrying on the family's legacy as well? Just getting him on the boat.
Yeah, it's so amazing, and I'm so thankful and proud, and it changes things for me in the way of sometimes I never used to consider as much like this is stupid. And now sometimes I think like, and I'm telling you that kid, for me, if I told him, dude, load up, we're going on a rocket and we're gonna try to make it to the moon today, he'd be like, he'd be strapping his shit on to go.
How much fuel do we need?
Yeah. And you know, he always answers the call. And I never used to consider the call as much as sometimes I'm like, do I really want to make this kid suffer like this? You know, and he does. And he's proven himself time and time again. And I'm very proud of him. And I'm super gracious to my brother-in-law, because we know how the family stuff is, right? And my brother-in-law has never been selfish or caused a crossword or anything with me and Todd having, because you got to remember, me and Todd are, you know, we'll fish together nonstop, and then we'll come in and say, oh, like, dude, it's going to blow super hard. We want to go to the duck club. And then we're going to the duck club, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's, you know, I've been very fortunate with some of those things. You know,
you guys have a great relationship.
Yeah,
for sure.
Want to get your business in front of a loyal local audience? Between Shifts brings Coastside stories to life with real conversations, local legends, and plenty of laughs. Sponsorships include custom ad reads, shout-outs in episodes, and visibility across all our socials, all designed to connect your brand with engaged listeners who support local. Now, please email betweenshiftspod@gmail.com for any inquiries. Thank you.
We gotta pick back up our Prohibition project, but that would be cool to just we're definitely gonna hit you back up.
Oh, for sure.
Some family stuff for sure.
Cool thing. I got a lot of pictures too, if you guys like to see that.
Yeah. See, so Todd is helping us on this Prohibition project wherever he can when you guys aren't fishing.
Yeah. Sure.
But he's because your guys' family was so good about documenting shit.
Yeah.
You guys really were.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Todd really gets the drive to, you know, be good with a camera and to document some shit. But he has sent us some really, really cool stuff.
Good.
Not that we're going to use it in the video, but just shit that's like, dude, check this out.
Yeah,
Look what I found in here.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and we just recently, like in the last week, you guys will laugh your ass off. So my uncle, which was my grandpa's brother, when he passed away, his house. So when he had like a big workshop underneath, right? And my cousin is like my uncle. Anyway, the other half of the family, kind of when he died, they didn't really do much with it. They rented the top part of the house out. Okay. So it's been 20 years, right? And it's been closed up.
Yeah.
And they decided that they're gonna sell the house. So me and Todd have been helping them clean up, right? And we found super old fish tickets from the 50s and fuel receipts. And then I died to know the story, but I don't know the story. So, and they're in my outdoor kitchen. I look under and there's these signs, and I could tell they're porcelain. I pull out a sign and it's 600 block of Powell Street. I'm like, and then I pull out another one, 600 block of Geary Street. So they were like, they must have been like that, right?
Yeah. And
I'm like, so I asked my cousin, I said, George, what's the story? He goes, I don't know. So me and Todd are like trying to figure out, like, did Uncle George and his buddies get a big heater and go up there and just rip the signs? It's like, where did these things come from, right? So we found some cool, like old navigation lights that he had.
Any cool old guns?
And the George had a couple old ones, but I have two super cool things that you guys would probably love to see. Is I have a map, an ocean map. Okay. That was my grandpa's, an ocean one. That, you know, my brain's programmed to just, when I look at the map, like, it's like a kid that's been looking at the same coloring book for his whole life, right? Like, I know it just registers to me. And I had this one of my grandpa's, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't understand what's wrong with this thing. And finally it dawned on me, there's no freaking bridge. There's no Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, holy shit, there's no bridge.
Yeah.
And then I kind of figured out that, you know, how old it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's what's going on. That's what looks funny.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. And then I don't want to say incorrectly the date because I could be wrong, but it's early 1900s, and it's probably 7 feet long, this wide. It came out of the original firehouse And what it is, it's San Mateo County all in one piece. And it's got every ranch from the Deanies to Radas to the old Fabian Bettencourt, Judge Bettencourts, and just
Holy shit.
It's fucking Todd cracked me up. He goes, dude, he's looking over my shoulder and I found it and he goes, this is the first fucking Onyx. Because that's what it looked like, right? It was all the little with the latitude, longitude, and shit.
All the
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and it is the next level. And
David and I should come over to your house.
You should.
And you should show us your coolest shit.
Yeah, dude, you should.
We'll
You guys
do
gotta
it.
come.
If you're cool with it, we'll do like
I'd
a little
love it.
video thing
I'd love it.
for promo behind your interview.
Yeah,
That'd be
we got
cool.
There's I got some cool shit that I'd love to share with you guys.
Yeah.
Come over, we'll have a nice, eat some fish.
Free next week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because you're coming out next Friday. So.
Yeah, let's do it. And I built a fucking super cool hunting room.
Okay.
It's all fucking guns and fucking horns and
Sick.
That'd be really fun.
shit. Yeah.
Can we bring the ladies? That's the real question.
Absolutely.
We'll bring the food too.
No,
I'm not saying we're going to free handle you.
Dude, you should see the outdoor kitchen I built. Fucking sick, big. Dude, we can eat like fucking kings.
Oh, hell yeah. That'd be fun.
I owe you anyway. I had crab.
You don't owe me shit.
That's for you.
Well, if we could plan on that next week, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But
I kind of want to say fuck it to the rest of the interview and just talk about prohibition.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to, whatever.
No.
Can I do I'm curious about because I know that you have really good fabrication skills and welding and stuff. Is that something that just came over time? Like you saw people do it, you ended up doing it yourself, learn from mistakes, and it's just developed over a long course of time?
Yeah, so when I was young, and we had the wooden boats, right?
Yeah.
We would travel, and we would go to Bodega Bay, and it's kind of a pretty cool story too. Is so in Bodega Bay, there was a family there that was friends with my grandpa, and I would see him on the ocean, right? Like always big wave,
Yeah.
We'd see the sea farmer, or, you'd see the condor or something like, and you'd be like, when you were a kid, just real cordial, but never super close, right?
Yeah.
So, and this was, you didn't have any of the social media shit, right?
Mhm.
So when Moriah and I were young, 18 and 20 years old, I told her, I said, babe, I really want to go to Bodega and meet these guys, I really do. And we went together as kids, and they happened to be in, right? And I went down and the boat was there and told them who I was. And we shook hands, and from that day forward, some of my best friends, and they were my grandfather's best friends.
Nice.
And one of the grandpa was an amazing fabricator. So like when you would look at a component on the boat, it was stainless, and you just go, dude, what? Stainless? And you go over and look at it, you don't have to paint it, right? And it doesn't rust. And I remember just looking like, stainless anchor winch? Are you shitting me? Stainless. I mean, the guy was crazy, right? With talented, and he had stainless anchors, and I was fascinated with it. I was like, this is the coolest stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I come home, and that was the very, very first like plasma cutter, like when they just started making plasma cutter.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my dad, I gotta get a plasma cutter, and he's like, that's a toy. You don't need that. That's a toy, right? Right? And then finally, after just working on them long enough, we ended up getting a plasma machine.
Yeah.
And I got my first plasma cutter. And then they taught me, because it was different in those days. You would help other people. Where now it's just, I don't like it how it is now. But, he'd say, hey, there's this old junkyard here, and you can go get, we would always get remnants. Like you would always go over there, and it would be a recycling yard, and you'd go over, and it'd be something that came off a job that was extra, and then they started teaching me how to read what was magnetized and what the grade was, and so then I started learning, and I started buying stuff, and I started buying material, and I started buying tools, and I started unbolting shit that was rusty and building new shit, and then that's evolved into now all the way to this boat, where the Miss Moriah has got the fish hold is completely slined with stainless steel.
Wow.
So it's doors, stainless steel doors. I built a 10-inch stainless mast, 10-inch pipe stainless mast.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I built all my drag davits. The material I got I ordered it. It came from Sweden. It's because it was super thick wall to build my trawl davits out of, and I built stainless shoes and pipe rails.
And you're doing all this on your own.
Did it all on my own.
Yeah.
And I built all
That's
this
fucking awesome.
all this stainless shit, and at the time there was this place, and everybody's like, guys are making their hydraulics. This place called Puget Sound Hydraulics. It's awesome, dude. It's the coolest shit you ever seen. And it was giant money.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I was like, and I started thinking, well, fuck, I could do some of that. So I got a fucking Harbor Freight pipe bender, and I had an old lathe, and ordered the fittings, just normal fittings, and then turned them out on the lathe and made little socket welds, and then bent all the pipes and shit, and built all the and all my shit's. I did it for fucking peanuts. Yeah. And it's been, the shit I did it on the little Moriah, and the shit on the big Moriah has been running, we'll have, 3,500 pound spikes if we're hung up, and my hydraulics are still holding. So,
Damn.
Fuck.
So it's still okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I want to ask, what's your favorite fishery?
That's a good question too. I enjoy them all. When I get going, it's the bullshit that leads up to a lot of them sucks.
Yeah.
When I actually leave the dock, I do really, I enjoy sablefish trapping quite a bit. And that's what I built the boat for. And trawling was secondary. And I've been trawling. I haven't trapped for a couple of years, and things are improving to where hopefully we'll be able to do that again. And I enjoy the trip fishing, because when you tighten your clock to, okay, I got 30 something hours and 20 hours or whatever it is that I gotta get out. I gotta get this shopping list filled, and I gotta get back, and it compresses the stress of to where if you're on a trip, you're like, me and Todd we've been 2 men in it lately, just the two of us, which is, we always have 3 guys. Yeah. So it's just been me and him.
Where's Coleman at, dude?
I love that kid.
Damn Coleman.
Great kid.
We went to school with his older sister.
Yeah.
And you've had David Grant work for you.
I had David too.
Yeah.
David, I lost David overboard once.
Really?
Yeah, I got David back. Kind of a funny story. It was probably the least scariest man overboard I had, because we were stopped, and we were picking up the stabilizers, and there's this little rope on the stable because they're too heavy to pick up by hand, and we used the boom to pick them up. David reached over and he put the hook. He was doing what he was supposed to do, and we came up, and the boat took a little roll, and the hook popped, which it's never done, pops out of the thing, and David is leaning over, so this big heavy thing's out of the water, and it just went and fell in, and the rope flipped around David and just shot him off the boat. Just damn. I just seen his feet go, right? But we were stopped. So I just ran over, and he's kind of coming up, and I see his hands, and I grab his hands, and I got him by both hands, so I know he's fine, right? And David, he had this necklace that he got from the kid that his best buddy that died. Malcolm.
Yep.
And I got David by both hands, and I see the necklace hanging on David's shoulder like this. It's over his shoulder, but not connected to anything. And I just told him, I said, Dave, I'm going to let go of one of your hands because I can grab the necklace. Your necklace is off. I told him real calm. And he goes, okay. So I let go of him with one hand, and I still had him with the other hand, and I picked it off of him, and I threw it over on the boat, and then I just, adrenaline shit, I just ripped him on the boat. Yeah. Yeah. So David was one of your
overboards.
Yeah.
That's classic. Well, I'm getting into it. We know that you're a history junkie as well. Both of us are. What are some good family history stories here on the Coastside? Doesn't need to be Prohibition. It could be anything.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to have a lot of the stories that I have, you know. I mean, there's some amazing stories about my dad, some of the stuff he did at the firehouse, and my grandpa, and some amazing prohibition stories, and you know, I'm happy to tell whatever stories you want. I'll tell you one pretty cool one about Dad when he was a fireman. Was, and you guys, when you watch the parade and you see the old fire truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
The open one.
Yeah.
Well, next time you see it, look at the tailboard where the guys stand,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll notice that it's kicked up like this. That's because there was a big fire up in 92, and it was on the other side of the creek. They're close to Cosalinos.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, in those days, they'd roll up there by themselves. And he's going up there, and the place is fully engulfed, and he's like, oh, I gotta go across this bridge. So he goes across the bridge, and he says, all of a sudden, the truck stops. It's dark, and he's a guy by himself.
Yeah.
So the truck stops, and my dad's like, go and put in gear, and we'll go, and this and that. So he had this big, you'll see a big like e-brake. He just pulls the brake, right? Flips the pump and grabs the hose and runs, starts doing his thing. You don't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
So then the guys come. Later, my dad said the guys come, and they're like, Dave, are you all right? And my dad's like, yeah. Got it knocked out, man. What do you mean? And he goes, no, are you all right? And he's like, yeah. What are you talking about? They're like, come on, you gotta see something. So they go back, and the front tires of the fire truck, and about where the door is on the land, and the bridge is gone, and there's one big post wedged underneath the tailboard, and the truck's just sitting there.
Holy shit.
He didn't have a clue. He just was doing his thing. and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Damn.
it was a pretty cool story with my dad.
Yeah.
And then another one, obviously, you know, I was pretty obsessed with I love my dad, who's an amazing man. And another one I remember, my mom, we were upstairs at his house, at the house when I was a little kid, and they had this thing called a plectron, and it was hooked to the fire department, and when Dad would get a call, he'd have to go, right?
Uh-huh.
So my mom, he got one, and it was on the neck block, and I was, you know, maybe 8 years old or something, and it was late at night, and I go upstairs, and I could see the glow of the fire, and it was just a block away, and I told my mom, let me go. And she said, okay. And I remember being scared when I took off and it was dark. I was like, holy shit. And I was like picking up speed because I was worried about the boogeyman. And I round the corner and I get there right when the fire truck shows up, right? And he pulls in and I see him get out and there's people and stuff.
Yeah.
And he runs up and somebody says, oh yeah, I think there's somebody in there. And I see him, he just takes like 10 steps back and puts his shoulder down, boom, blows the door off the hinges. And I'm like,
shit.
to everybody there, I'm like, that's my dad right there, man. yeah. And so he's done some amazing stuff and taught me a lot of amazing things. And
How long was he with the fire department here?
30 years, 31 years or something.
When did he start?
He started in early mid 60s.
Wow.
And it was all municipal fire that whole time, right?
Yeah, it was all Half Moon Bay Fire Department.
Yeah.
And it was then my cousin George was there. I mean, that's I didn't follow that path, and sometimes I think I screwed up. I did what I don't know.
I think I've always, you know, I have a handful of friends that have gone down the firefighting path. I thought about doing it at one point.
Everybody thought about doing it at one point.
Yeah, exactly. But dude, it's one of those things where like, yeah, it would be awesome to like, you know, working where you live is for one, like it's a cool thing, but then you think about it from the firefighting aspect.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be brutal.
Oh,
you know, where it's
sure.
like your neighbor's house is on fire.
Oh,
your neighbor's in a car crash. You know, like that sort of thing. That connection to the community can screw you over in a line of work like that.
Yeah, my dad. I mean, he actually did CPR on his mom.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean, he would tell me stories about going back to the El Granada fire station by himself and washing his hand in the sink with blood coming off, and then climbing in the bed by yourself in this pitch black.
Yeah.
Where now you're going to get some kind of counseling, and you get something of this, and these guys.
You also have 5 to 6 guys with you, if not more.
You just would go, and that's just how it went.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
Get up
All alone.
go doing what he would do.
Yeah. What's this is kind of off topic, but the Moss Beach fire station is getting redone. And so they moved all these guys into a temporary station where they literally put that engine under just a little overhang, and they've got a couple portable, they look like the portable classrooms for the guys to sleep in. And I was like, dude, that sucks. And especially like
For 3 years or something, isn't it?
yeah, a couple of years, and something about this is like one of these like those the firefighters. I mean, a big point of pride in them is like the engine.
Oh yeah.
This thing is outside. It's basically getting stored outside for like 3 years, and I'm like, dude, these guys got to be so bummed.
Dude, I'll tell you what, if you ever want to try to sweet talk a fireman, you got to go to the Half Moon Bay station and ask for their gym. That gym is insane.
Well, see, and that's where these Moss Beach guys.
I saw that gym in there.
They're gonna be. Yeah, you can literally look.
You can see
their
it.
gym
Yeah,
right next to the engine.
No, we were doing the spray foam insulation in the Half Moon Bay one.
Yeah.
Right down at the end of Main Street. And I remember being in there. I was like, "Holy shit! These guys have like a 24-hour fitness gym in there."
Well, but the Moss Beach guys sucks now. They're gonna have a real nice state. I mean, that's gonna be the best view from a fire station on the coast. You think the EG station is nice?
Yeah.
That spot where the Moss Beach one is now, it's so sick.
So like our family's side of that, there's a few pretty cool stories really so that was between, I think it was over in the early 30s, like 33-ish. It was like, I'm guessing it was like 26 to 33-ish in that range.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one kind of cool story, which was in 1927, because that's the year the boat was built. So my grandfather had built, so that was when they were building wood boats in the city and stuff, right? So he wanted a Monterey, and he wanted a big one. So they built the Irene, which was, almost 40 feet in those days, which was big, right? So, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Princeton, but when you go right there, you know where Dawn Patrol is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right across from Dawn Patrol, you know the old house with the tower?
Yeah.
That was where our family's original, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and you got to remember, like at that time, there was nothing there, right? So they could see the bay, and that was just all open. So the story goes like this.
That's an old ass house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The baby blue one across the street?
No, not the one on the back from that, the brown one with the tower.
So not across the street from Dawn Patrol, but
just past across the street. So you go right around.
I gotcha.
And you go around.
Yeah.
And so the rumor has it that the kids, because they had big families, there was 10 kids.
Crazy.
So they're all there, and get this knock at the door, and there's this guy at the door, and great grandpa is still there. It is obviously the man of the house, and this guy comes in and he goes, "Somebody told me that's your boat." Yeah, that's it. And the guy goes, "Well, I want to rent your boat." And my grandpa's, "No, dude, the thing's brand new, right?"
Yeah.
And it was a lot of money in that. It was like $1,800 for the boat then, which was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so the guy goes on and on. He goes, "Oh, no." He goes, "No." He goes, "Well, if you won't rent it to me, sell it to me." My great grandpa's like, "No, dude, I ain't selling it." He's like, so they kind of have this thing. So they go outside from the family. This is excused from the table, and the kids are in there, and goes outside, and he comes in. Well, this is the story. When they went outside, guy was some big gangster, mobster guy. They wanted to run some load of booze.
Yep.
And he didn't want like a second party to do it. Because they didn't want to overboard. So he comes and the deal they squared was, he asked him how much he paid for the boat. And it's as if it was, $1,500, right? he told him, he goes, well, I'll give you twice what the boat's worth. And he says, and I'm going to take the boat. And he says, then if when you get up in the morning, the boat's back there, somebody's going to knock on the door. He says, and you got to give them half the money back. My grandpa, I guess, thought about it, and he's like, well, if I lose it, I can get another one now.
Yeah.
And he goes, and if they put it back, I'm going to do pretty good.
Yeah, you're going to get double it. Yeah.
So they let it roll. And
That's fucking,
that was the only time from 1927 until the 1990s when my uncle passed and the Irene was sold, that anybody other than a Bettencourt drove that boat outside the harbor.
wow.
So,
What a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah. And then they ran the booze.
Yeah.
They'd pick the booze up
Yeah.
it
Well,
was coming from Canada.
Yeah.
And it was in cans. It was in these metal cans,
Whiskey in cans?
whiskey in cans, and then it was in burlap.
Oh,
And then they would put that. Then they had to get it from they weren't ships. They were like schooners, like like lumber schooners.
so now this is the same grandpa that at one point rowed out to the breakwater.
So what they would do?
So he was already in tune with the game.
Oh, he knew the game.
Yeah.
And they often say, this is kind of a funny story, but they say that my grandpa was the most sought, like that he was the best doryman. He said he's the only guy that could surf a dory through the surf full of whiskey and keep his shoes dry. That's what they would say. And then they always wanted him to do it. And what we found, that's the way the story goes, is they wanted him because if there was 20 cases or 40 cases,
Yeah.
he delivered 20 cases or 40 cases.
Yeah.
But it was the old school where they were like, well, if I'm getting 38. So they always said that my grandpa screwed up being too honest, because if you'd have took a can or two here and there, he'd have been loaded, right?
Yeah.
And he never stole any.
Yeah.
So he was always
Yeah.
super.
'Cause I'm sure that was
He
a
was
classic.
respected.
Like you tie a buoy to it, you drop it off, and come back for it the next day or something.
Well, they would take it to the.
It fell off.
Yeah. That's how they did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they did it. Yeah. And then he would take it to the beach, and then that's when they would haul it up the cliffs and put it in the hay trucks
Yeah.
or the haul out lumber trucks, and then figure out how to get it to the city.
I've always been told there is I never personally saw it because it's trespassing. But in front of the Montera Water Sanitary District, there's that beach in front of there, like right by the Montera Lighthouse. That little section of private beach, there's an old mooring point that's still visible. And it's just this metal, like rusted as hell metal stake sticking out of the rocks. And I was told by some buddies that it was like, long lost Prohibition era, like anchor point. Because it's one of the only approachable sections. That whole section of coastline is pretty terrible.
Yeah, rugged, yeah.
But it would be one of the only approachable sections for a smaller boat if you were able to.
To get in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I mean, here's the story. Nowadays, it's iron ships and wooden men. In those days, it was wooden ships and iron men.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different. Guys, they were just, I mean, animals. They were so tough.
What's the obviously we talk a lot about the possibility of Al Capone being in town during the Prohibition before he went to Alcatraz. We've talked about it, how his sister lived in San Gregorio, but you had a great story about in Frenchman's Creek.
Yeah, so my grandpa, I know they didn't normally drive the booze, but this particular time they were driving some down the coast, and they got right there to Frenchman's Creek, and all of a sudden he got run off the road, right? And this was in the days where the guy was dressed right and had all your and all of a sudden my grandpa, I remember him and my dad talking to the stories, and he said this gun come through the window, and he said it looked like a cannon. He said the barrel looked this big when the guy stuck it in his face. And it was Al Capone's guys, and they just robbed them right there. They took all the booze and shot the tires or whatever they did and left them on the side of the road. And that was it. That was the way he went.
Yep.
Did you ever hear anything about Al Capone himself being in town?
What I was told about him, and I don't know if this is true, but I still think about it. I thought about it the other day when Moriah and I drove through there. Is when you're going through Santa Cruz and you turn kind of where you start to turn to go over toward where you get back on the highway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right over the river.
Right over the river, and there's kind of those older houses over there.
Pop Warner Field.
I was always told that that's where he lived.
Oh.
That's where his house was.
Yeah.
Up on Highway 9.
Right? Just right there, not too far off the beaten path. Those first couple rows up there. That's where I was told where his house was.
There's a Costco over there now.
Yeah.
I know. Oh shit! Where was I getting at with this?
His sister paid. He funded it, but she was going to build during the Prohibition. She was going to build a hotel, bar, whatever, brothel at the end of Kelly Street, and the foundation stakes that they had originally poured are still there.
That's cool.
But when I met with him, he told me all the research that he had done. He was the old historian in town, Dave Cresson.
Dave Cresson. Yeah.
When I met with him, he was telling me, he said, yeah, I looked into it a little bit more, and his sister had permits and everything to build this hotel at the end of Kelly Street, right where State Beach is now.
Yeah, I never knew that.
And there's still, like, I guess across the street, right by that old yoga studio there.
Yeah.
There's concrete, like, they look like poles, but I guess it was what they were going to use to start building the place.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he got arrested, and it was funds are gone.
Well, that was one of my favorite Coastside Prohibition things. Is like it kind of comes in like post Prohibition, because it was when right when Prohibition ended, all these gangs were massive, huge payrolls, all this stuff, and they were struggling to find something to make money off of. And all of a sudden, the biggest artichoke farming area in the country was around here, and New York and East Coast in general was all of a sudden obsessed with artichokes. And so then you had mobs stealing fucking artichokes from around here and fucking transporting them to the East Coast, which is just crazy.
I'll have to send them to you, but I had been reading some of the San Mateo County Historical Society, whatever it is, stories on the Prohibition, and I was just kind of solely looking for Half Moon Bay, but they have the whole San Mateo County thing going on. I could swear that I read Bettencourt like 2 times in there, and it was one with the artichokes. I think somebody in your family was driving one of the trucks and they got busted. And then there was another one. I don't know if your family was associated with it. I don't want to do that, but up on David Lea's property, it was either one of the or the largest Prohibition busts on a still in that canyon. And it was like 150,000 gallons.
Like, I think my family's part of it was they got them off the ships. Like, I mean, off the.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't remember any stories of them like moving or doing any.
Yeah.
They were the guys that could get it from the lumber schooners.
Where in Portugal is your family from?
Well, supposedly they were from the, I guess, Fials, where I think they talk about them being from.
Oh, okay.
But,
is that an island?
Yeah, it's one of the little islands.
One of the Azores, all in the Azores.
As far as, that's something I'm also embarrassed of, that I don't know the history as well as I should,
I'm embarrassed of that too, yeah.
The other half of my family came from Italy, so
yeah.
I had serious blood issues in me.
I've been talking about trying to organize a trip for years with my family, both sides, because my mom's side and my dad's side are both from the Azores in Portugal, and it'd be awesome to just go back and
dude, it's a dream of ours
and do a trip.
That's a dream of ours to do it for sure.
Yeah, Morgan, my sister, just got married, and at the wedding, all my cousins were there, and I was just talking to them. I was like, "Dude, let's fucking do it,
dude!
Like, let's do it." Yeah. And everybody was like, "Yeah, let's do it." But you know how that goes. Yeah, sure. You got to have somebody that's fucking actually looking at stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing they had to deal with in that time too, that with the boats, it was kind of unusual. Was the war. So they had all the bunkers and shit. So like they had to get clearance to drive along the blood. They would shoot them.
Oh,
Yeah. You know, there was some.
Also,
shit
wait,
going
tying into that, you've dug up some World War II.
Yeah, I don't know what era they were, but yeah, we had major torpedo, scary shit. You know, like
He's brought up some bombs and shit,
yeah, I've
dude.
had two bad ones. I remember one time me and Dad were together, just the two of us, Dover fishing, which is deep, and got one. And it was in the intermediate, and I couldn't get it out, and it was getting rough, and we turned the boat, and it's just smacking the boat. And me and Dad looking at me, dude, he goes, they're going to find freaking toothpicks. What do we... I don't know what to do. And he's got me by the back of the pants, and I'm trying to cut it out. And just hoping to just rip this thing out and get rid of it. And
what do you have to do with that shit now?
Put it back.
Cut it out and stay away from it.
Drop it back down, yeah.
Mark it and stay away from
Imagine
it.
how much that shit's down there, though.
There's some serious shit down there, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's an era of the Coastside I would have loved to seen, is just like the full armament of
To the extent, what did they have
of this West Coast, like of this area during World War II? Because it was like, you know, we were pretty much some of the southernmost, what would you call that?
Protection kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because
coastline?
I mean, yeah, because of course San Francisco.
Yeah.
They focused on defending San Francisco, and so like when you see like Devil Slide, the evidence of bunkers and guns, like in Moss Beach, and a little bit, you know, I guess Pillar Point's kind of the furthest south.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got
that there's evidence of.
Isn't there a bunker on the property that just became public now?
I'm not certain.
I could have swore I remember hearing about a bunker down there too.
The San Gregorio property.
Yeah, I remember hearing about something down there, but I could be completely wrong.
But even Pillar
Who
Point
knows?
it was so much different, right? It was because it was just open.
Yeah.
There's no breakwater, there's no protection.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, what year was the breakwater built? That was like 50s, right?
Yeah, I
60,
think, late
60s?
50s,
Okay.
early 60s,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I remember seeing pictures of Hazel's, the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit before the breakwater, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was the picture after the tsunami. And then I think that's when breakwater came in, or was the tsunami after?
Alaska tsunami was 1908 or something.
I have pictures of all that shit. And I have a picture to show you that you'll love.
I'd love, yeah. I don't even know what it is. I'll love it.
Because your great grandma, Hazel's,
Yeah.
she bought the first little fish shack from my great grandpa. And that
Oh,
was
shit.
when my family because my family started the party boat thing.
Oh, okay.
They started it.
Yeah.
And the way they started it is crack up.
What the fuck is going on tonight, dude? There's sirens up the yin yang, dude.
I don't know, man.
Dude, they didn't have boats big enough to haul the people.
Uh-huh.
So they put the fucking people in a lifeboat and they would tow them out
Behind the big boat?
behind the big boat. And then what you would get was you get two drifts. So they'd take you out to, just the little South Reef.
Yeah.
They'd let you drift over it twice. So they'd grab you, pull you back up if it was northwest or whatever.
Yeah.
They'd let you drift twice and then haul you in.
Holy shit.
So then
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, that's what they did. And then my family, that was when they went straight commercial. Because I have at home, and you guys will see it this next week. It's a certificate that my great grandpa gave to the high school in 1933, and it says donation, free launch on the Irene, bait, pole, fishing supplies, $2.10.
That's crazy.
1833.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So then so I have a picture of that.
Yeah.
And then you'll love this. This is one of my favorite fucking stories if you guys want to hear it. So in that, my grandpa's 20 something years old. Okay. And he's getting married.
Huh.
And he's going to see all these gangster looking dudes. They're all lined up. They're all holding fish. And I know which two. And he points out the two to me. And so my grandpa's getting ready to get married. And the guy comes up to him and he goes, present for you. And he put something in his hand and that was it. And my grandpa says, don't look at it here. My grandpa goes home. He opens this piece of paper and he's like, the hell is this? So he kind of starts figuring it out. And it says, you got to go to San Francisco on this day. And then you go dog 1, race 1. Dog race
Fixed
to-
races? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So-
That's fucking
So
awesome.
that was his wedding present. So they told him, they said, scrape up borrow all the money you can from everybody and go put it on these horses.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so my grandpa, that was a big feat, dude. In
Yeah.
the 20 to make it to the city,
Yeah.
like right. I mean, this was a big, like almost going out state hunting, right?
Yeah.
It was a major. You're getting in this old car, driving these shitty roads.
He did it though.
Oh yeah, fuck you. You got the right. You got a suit on. It's a
How
big
would
deal.
they do that? How would they fix horse races?
I don't know how they did. They knew.
I don't get it.
Well,
I mean, the jockeys.
This was the dogs.
Oh, it
it
was
was
dogs.
It was dogs. So it's
How the fuck are they doing
I
that?
don't know.
Yeah.
And
The horse races make more sense because of the jockeys. You can kind of do something with it. But dogs?
He always joked too. Like he should have did what they said.
Yeah.
He didn't because he'd be like, put $1 in it. And he was like, holy shit. And
Yeah.
everybody if he'd have went and borrowed and put $20 and 20 and he'd have,
Have you watched Peaky Blinders?
I love it.
Oh, it's a great
It's
show.
a great show.
Took me like 2 seasons to actually get into it though, but it's a great show.
Yeah, so I got the picture with the dudes and everything, and my grandpa said the story was that afterwards he went and he wanted to thank him, right?
Yeah.
I just looked down, I'm like, what are you talking about?
We do this every week.
Yeah, they didn't talk about it. It was a one-time deal. And
That's
Yeah.
funny.
that was it. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, you'll have to
I'll show you that picture.
not to keep you busy, but you have to put it together your all-star
Yeah,
pictures and
I got
shit
some,
for us.
It's all on hand there. It's not too far to do
Right
that.
on. That'll be fun. Yeah, we have I didn't even know we had a family tree, but somebody on my nanny's side, my dad's side of the family, put together a whole fucking binder where they actually wrote back to the family that's still in the Azores and had letters back from them in the
that's
Azores. It's pretty cool.
That's-
And it shows actually no, not Stanley Andrew. I think it's Tracy. My great grandfather came here, lived here for most of his life. His name was Antonio. They were all over on PJ Street in El Granada. Vallejo. They all lived. We had all of us over there, and then I think he ended up dying in Tracy. And there was pictures of his grave because our original, on my grandfather's side, on Dennis's side, our original last name is Frost. Or no, Dolan. Sorry. Frost or Dolan. Frost or Dolan. It goes fucking back and forth.
Yeah.
Because Dennis was adopted by Frank Tomberlin.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was adopted by Frank Tomberlin, which is where the Tomberlin name comes from. But it's originally Frost or Dolan. So
Okay.
in the family history books, she also touches on that side of the family, and it shows a Dolan grave and a Frost grave, and it's
Amazing how
who
she
the
kept track
fucking
of
are
it,
these
though.
people?
Right, but
Yeah.
track of that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
No, it's cool. But I'm excited to go to your house to see all that because
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah,
I'll show you what I got. I got a lot of cool stuff that I think you guys will really enjoy.
that'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to work out a day next week.
Yeah, super neat stuff. That to me, that's what I find cool. Right? I think
Yeah.
I love something that's old that can tell a story. It has some meaning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those cool things, and that's why I like to say it on tape. Is it why I really, like I said to you guys, I really appreciate, and I think everyone should, that you guys are taking the time to try to document some of the stuff that's so important that it'll be lost, and it's how meaningless, hundreds of years or 150 years anyway
Mm-hmm.
of multiple people's lives that deserves some recognition of discussion or just to let other people know, hey man, this is what it was like,
Yeah.
and it's I can't tell you how proud and which I think you guys are doing a really
Thank
cool
you.
thing.
Thank you. Yeah. No,
Even if it's somebody's just stupid story of their friends.
whatever,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, we talked about it too off of the microphones, but it's fun to do obviously our focus is heavily on the history of Half Moon Bay and the stories behind it, but it is fun to sprinkle in the characters that have now moved to town because they're able to recognize how special of a place this is.
Oh yeah.
And also want to raise their families here. You have guys like Strider Patton or Mark Spusta who we've interviewed,
Well-
and they're all these really cool, talented individuals that are now just yeah, this place is fucking super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, and my parents just moved
Yeah.
here in the late 90s, and I've grown up here, and it's just it's I'm part of that new crowd.
Yeah.
I'm not
Which is cool. I hadn't thought about this.
Third.
I hadn't talked about this until now, but having us two and Ian doing the interviews is actually a really good mix because I hadn't even thought about this yet, but Ian and I are just multi-generational, and then you're fresh, and it's cool to have that outlook on top of everything too.
You know what it is though, dude? It's not the people being new.
Yeah.
It's the people, right? You can have new people come, and when they're good, respectful people, they will blend and weave into the fibers of, people that have been here because they're good people, right? And everyone is, and that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is like, there's just, you have to start with that first, right?
Yeah.
It's just when you get the guy that moves in and he's been here for 10 minutes and he's, waving the flag that everything that everybody does is wrong and shut the foghorn off and no chickens. And it's like, dude, really? I mean, how would you feel if I went to where you lived and did shit like that?
That's like love it or hate it when my grandma moved here in like the late 80s, and she was she was early in Coastside Land Trust, but I still remember
it.
but it was one of those things where she was anti-development and
no, I respect the shit.
And there's photos of her in her house in Miramar where there's just nothing behind her.
Yeah.
And you go to the same place now and it's I think there's two or three more streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's mix of it, right? You gotta we talked about that. It's just like fishing or hunting, like if we shot everything, it'd be the most horrible thing. If you caught every fish in the world, the worst thing in the world.
If you developed every lot, it would be fucking hideous.
It'd be fucking terrible, right?
Yeah.
But having respectfully and finding honestly the solutions to those things, that's where it's at, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we all want. It's when that gets clouded by certain personal agendas, when it's shit gets really screwed up, right? When if you can't recognize what the other guy's going through, you probably shouldn't be in the decision-making position anyway.
Yep.
Totally. Well, right on.
Yeah, you guys.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come bullshit with us.
Yeah, no, you guys. I'm pumped now. What do we want to eat? Tri-tip? What do you guys? Yeah.
Whatever. We'll pick it up at the store.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
Are you kidding me? I told my owner to have you.
You got any fish?
Yeah, I got some salmon actually.
Oh, fuck yeah. That'd be
Froze for about
awesome.
A month maybe, so it's still good.
Girls won't notice.
Yeah.
We're fine.
We'll eat some. Just
right on, Geoff.
Surf and turf.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you guys.
All right. Well, this is the recap for Geoff Bettencourt. That was a lot of fun talk, a lot of Half Moon Bay history, and I think both of us were suckers for hearing about his family history. So much so that we're going to go have dinner with him next week. Yeah. No, I mean, the stories are awesome. You can't beat the... I didn't really think about it, but the encyclopedic knowledge of... and just like the history keeping that it seems that his family has had, where it's just like... we got to say that part of that is just staying here for so long. Yeah, but they're also like... But also just the fact that like he has so many of these relics. From he has so much roll of film that Todd was showing me that his grandfather or great-grandfather took out on a wooden fishing boat. Yeah. Out in the water, just filming for fun. Yeah. And at that time, that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. No, it's insanely cool thing that there's that much history that they've kept. Kind of messed up. We probably should have had Todd on with him. Yeah. That would have been a lot of fun. Well, and I will say the history they have is very niche, but it also spreads out across the coastside. But I mean, if you want to know about the harbor, that's the family to talk from nearly 100 years ago, then yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Yeah. But also hearing about just all the aspects of him having Alex and talking about the hardships with having Alex, but also like the beauty that comes from having a kid with some challenges is that was really fun. And him and Moriah both have been really good about being open and just honest with what it's like being a parent to somebody with those types of challenges. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to do. And I really respect both of them for being able to not only communicate, what's going on, but also just like how they've learned and grown and respected each other from that is really admirable.
100%. Yeah. And I think, I love talking about fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not a good fisherman.
Same. Which is sad. I should be good.
I like fishing, but honestly, like just spending my whole life growing up, going to the docks, buying fish off the boat with my dad, and seeing it's really cool how a lot of it is the same boats over a very long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And
if not the same boat, the same family.
Yep. And
the same name.
And so hearing the stories behind one of those boats, I've grown up seeing my entire life is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very cool. I liked how you added the touch in about your dad opening or starting the app. I forget about that all the time, dude.
It's such a funny thing because it's so niche. It's literally at one point he was trying to like expand it to different harbors, but he just ran into the problem where there's like literally like almost no other harbors that sell off of the boat. So,
but props to your dad just for following his passion, just being like, yeah, I'm fucking doing it. To
be honest, it's a great idea, and
it's a great idea.
It's not that there's no money in it. It's
there could be, but for him, there's no money,
there's no money in it. But it's a great premise where it's like it's one of those light bulb ideas where he's like the fish board on your phone, and it's so simple.
Yeah, but it just sucks that there's no other harbors that are really selling off the boat like that.
Yeah.
That's the shitty part. Like, there's Morro Bay. I think Morro Bay might be another one that actually sells off the boats.
Well, the whole thing is that there's a lot of harbors that sell off of the docks.
But not the boats.
But it's the wholesalers that are selling.
Oh, that would make sense.
The boats
then.
catch.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. But there's very few harbors where you can hand the fishermen money.
Yeah.
And get the fish that they caught.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We should have asked him about the monk stories when they would go down to boats and buy all the crab, but not take any of it, and just ask them to go back out and release them. You ever heard those stories?
No.
They'll come by and buy a complete boatload full of fish, crab, anything, and then just be like, just please take them out and go release them. What would you do? My boat would leave the harbor, but I'd come back in with the full load.
I'd go release them, Gavin. I'm not a piece of shit.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, that's Geoff Bettencourt.
Yep.
What a fun episode. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Later.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, we're brought to you by Bikeworks HMB, your one-stop shop for bike service, sales, and rentals in Half Moon Bay, California. Whether you're on the mountain, road, or low on battery, Bikeworks HMB has your back. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support this podcast, please feel free to reach out to us at betweenshiftspod@gmail.com. The link will be in the description. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. GT, signing off.